Call this meeting of the Common Council to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kraus.
Here.
Horn.
Here.
Fire. Peachy.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Randall.
Here.
Lars.
Here.
Tully.
Alderman Tully is excused this evening. At this time, we'll entertain public participation. Anyone wishing to address the council may do so. We ask that you state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, we'll move on to resolution number 81, the consent agenda. In lieu of Alderman Tully, Alderman Lars, would you please?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, citizens of Jefferson, City of Jefferson, Resolution Number 81. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the consent agenda for December 4th, 2018 is hereby adopted. A, vouchers payable for November 2018 in the amount of $125,472. Payroll summary for November 23rd, 2018 in the amount of $154,275. B, council minutes for November 20th, 2018 and November 28th, 2018 meetings of the Common Council. And C, license as approved by regulatory committee. Operation license, we had two, one for Alexandra Rose for Piggly Wiggly and Gabriella Benke for Rock Bottom. And we didn't have any Class B, so I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Miller. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Horn.
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Randall.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Kraus.
Aye.
Thank you. At this point, we'll have a presentation on a status report of the Jefferson Police Department, Jefferson Utilities Renovation Project. Welcome Doug Belke from Moss Brothers.
Thank you.
Jim, you want to get that?
Need this?
Yeah, just grab that. So all those folks watching at home can hear you.
Just hit that little button there until the lights up.
It's on. It's on, yeah.
Yeah, it's on.
All right. Thanks.
Well, I guess last time I was here, you basically approved the project to go forward. And since that time, we've contracted with everybody that was the low bidders on the project. And we've gone through the process of ordering the materials and getting them approved and reviewed by the design team and so forth. The project has progressed. We started by removing the entire roof and reinstalling a new roof. That was done early October. And that's basically about 90% complete. That'll be finished up when the exterior envelope gets completed, and that'll be tied in with that at the time. So we've basically, on the exterior, we've commenced with the overcladding, which is light gauge steel stud type material, along with new insulation. There's sheathing that goes on the sidewalls, and then an air barrier type vapor barrier chemical that goes on there. We're about 35% done with the light gauge framing and the sheathing, and the air barrier has commenced. That's slightly behind, obviously. We are just about ready for the masons to begin. They're going to, I believe tomorrow they'll start setting up scaffold and so forth, or delivering anyway, and start setting up. The brick are coming this week, hopefully tomorrow. There's that precast accent band that should be arriving today or tomorrow or the day after. And we're going to get set up to go with that. Interior wise, we've demoed the perimeter of the drywall around the lower half of almost every room. There's only about one left to do. We've done the demo of the gypcrete that was used as a self-leveling, where we found some odor at one point, and we've removed about 60% of that. We're leaving some of that till so we don't have to displace the people in the water department too much.
Doug, what did you find when you took that up?
There was 2 drains that have been abandoned that were very likely not abandoned properly, and there's traps in there and they dried up, so there was probably some odor trying to emulate out of these drains, And there were 2 layers of this leveling compound, this gypcrete we call it. And the lowest of the 2 seemed to absorb some of that odor. We bagged it up and we had the building envelope people are reviewing that just for the sake of it. I mean,
Does that mean like these pipes weren't capped properly or how? I don't,
they were capped, but they probably could have done a better job. And then there was also 2 metal covers that just, must have been access covers for an HVAC duct that goes under that floor besides that we'll be investigating further, but we don't believe it's active. It was for a exhaust system for vehicles that was underneath that floor. I don't think that was causing any real issues, but we just found some covers for that. And then there was an abandoned trench drain besides these other 2 drains. So that, we're finding some things as we go here that could have been part of the
could I
initial
just
problem.
ask you, these pipes, were they sewer pipes?
Yes. Yes, and they're still active. Not that they're active from the top side, but they're still
Right.
an active system.
And this was in the community room area.
Yeah. Yeah. The likelihood of that
Yep.
really getting up through there, I don't think that was part of it. Actually, we had it could have been the glue in there from the carpet that could have been part of that, which could have been related to some moisture. When the concrete floors sweat and then this gypcrete's a lot like gypsum drywall,
Right,
so then
right.
it absorbs moisture. There could have been something going on with that, the way it sounds.
Will they be re-pouring the
Yep.
floor?
Yep, that'll be done with concrete this time. And then it gets the epoxy sealer
Yep.
over the top of it. We're gonna seal the perimeter of walls, seal the concrete floor, everything. So
So it'll be a safe, healthy environment going forward.
that's the goal. We're looking for anything and everything possible here.
How are we on the schedule? Is it looking on target or?
We should be able to bring it in at the right time there. We're not, I'd like to be a little further ahead with the masonry, but it just takes time to get things in order, and yeah, we're a little behind on that, but I think we'll catch up with that. We'll get that done easy. So, yeah, so the drywall, the demo's been done on the interior. We really aren't putting anything back together inside just yet. We still have to tear up the floor. There's a drain tile system we're gonna put in. There's a little value engineering going on there. Hopefully we can save some money on that. We think there's a likelihood we won't have to buy the pump and wire it up the way it was bid out, but we gotta get underground first and make sure we can do it that way. So, there's a little good news there, so. Later this week, we're gonna review colors with the departments and things and make sure we got carpets and paints and blinds and so forth picked out, and we'll be firming that up for finish schedules. And basically, we haven't really ran into any big surprises, so there's no monetary impact here that I'm gonna talk to you about tonight.
So the budget generally looks on track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no surprises. I mean, we did a lot of due diligence before we got into this and put it out. I mean, there's usually something, and I'm not gonna say there isn't gonna be. And matter of fact, we're finding a couple things, but nothing that's gonna blow this thing out of the water. It's basically what we thought we'd be getting into here.
Doug, did you guys find anything in the walls when you ripped out the drywall? No moisture?
Nothing really to speak of. We've got EMC on track. We're gonna have them they gotta do one more evaluation before we button this thing up and make sure that, hopefully they'll see what we see, which is nothing,
Nothing major.
yeah.
Good.
Good. Any other questions of Doug? Great, thanks for coming in, Doug.
Thank you,
Appreciate the
gentlemen.
update.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Move on to number 5, our presentation regarding a status update on the North Industrial Park expansion project. Tim?
I probably shouldn't press any buttons, right? Mess it up. So I'm gonna pinch hit for Bill Pino. He went home sick with the flu. Otherwise, he was gonna give this presentation tonight. So what I wanted to do is run through this really, really quickly, and then let you know the plan is. I guess it could change, but right now the plan would be 2 weeks from tonight to ask you to approve a contract to do the design engineering for what would be the first phase edition of the Jefferson North Industrial Park. You know, we don't have to cover this ground. You know, we don't have any industrial land left that's been sold, and it's either developed or the last couple of buildings are being finished right now. So this would be on a portion of the 100 acres of property that at one time was going to be the medical college site. That looks like it's going to switch to the south side of the community. So the city owns this property. I wanted to just describe this very quickly, talk a little bit about a timetable, and then I think we'll talk about it some more in 2 weeks. But the green area on this map, the site plan, that's the area we're generally talking about. We would extend North Parkway along with utilities, not all the way to Dewey, but about where the green road becomes the reddish purplish road, about that far. And that would allow us to open up generally the lots shown on green, and create several lots that the city could use for attracting industrial development. Generally, some time ago, we talked very loosely about the arrangement with Highway Landscapers and Basin acquiring their property, and then Highway Landscapers moving out to one of these lots shown in green. That deal is not put in place, but that's alive and being discussed. And kind of the goal is to allow them, if this all comes together, Highway Landscapers, to start their building sometime the middle of summer, so they could move in by the end of the year and then sell that property for Basin and their expansion. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what we're talking about. So this property, as well as some of that north interchange property, was proposed or discussed to be placed in a tax increment district. And I will just generally tell you, and I do have to ask you about availability for a meeting, but Dawn Gunderson is finishing up the financial feasibility for that tax increment district. She will either be out at the next regular council meeting or a special council meeting, if we have one, to share the results of that feasibility analysis. And then, you know, assuming that's good, I haven't seen it yet, she's just finishing it up, then of course the next step would be to statutorily get in the process of creating a district. So generally what I'm going to talk about next is the city in the budget that we put in place at the last meeting. We budgeted approximately $1 million. We're not proposing to borrow to do this extension. The money's coming from a variety of sources: funds on hand, our capital improvement fund, the sanitary sewer fund, and then the stormwater fund as well. But it's about $1 million pre-engineered. So just really quickly, the first bullet, Dawn is completing the financial feasibility of tax increment district number 9. I think that gets shared if the next meeting, or maybe it's a special meeting that the mayor and I have kind of been talking about. Earlier this fall, Bill had the hydrologist do the wetland determination. That work has been done. It's been flagged. We do have an application for approval submitted to the DNR. Bill is not sure whether that's going to be approved over the winter months or whether the DNR might say, no, after the snow melts, we want to go out there and take a look before we approve it. We just don't know. And then Bill has a topographical survey of the southern half of, I forget, Bill or Dale. What, the southern farm is who, the Ganser farm?
That's Cancer Farm.
And the north one is?
Sally Gross.
So we're talking the Ganser farm, we did the topo survey, or it's being completed on the southern half of the Ganser farm. That will be completed next week. So if you can see where North Parkway ends right now, and where it's labeled Generac parking lot, you can see where the black marks are. That's where the wetlands have been flagged by our hydrologist. That is in the study that is being submitted to the DNR. One of the issues that we're going to have a little bit is that we're going to have to jog the North Parkway extension a little bit to the east to cut the corner of what likely is going to be a wetland, and we want to disturb as little as possible. If it's over 10,000 square feet of disturbance, it gets to be a major permit. It's easier to deal with the DNR on a minor land disturbance. And if you turn the page, I hope you can see that the blue line was the old route. We thought we would extend North Parkway, if you can see it, but you can see that it interferes with the wetlands that are flagged in black. So the yellow line is the route. You can see where we're swinging that out, or thinking we will need when design swing it out to the east to minimize any disturbance within what very likely is going to be a mapped wetland. We think that the DNR is for sure going to do that based on what we found. So I wanted to make you aware of that. And then the last two slides are really the timetable. The topo is due to be completed by the middle of the month. We would hope on December 18th to come back and ask you to approve a design engineering contract for the extension of the road and the utilities, as well as some grading. Hopefully by the time we get to the end of January, we can have a lot of that design engineering completed. We would hope maybe, optimistically, in February to bid the project in two packages. The first would be for the roadway extension with utilities, and then the second is a heck of a lot of grading because of the elevations. You know, we've talked about that. I don't have to spend time on that, but that's fairly significant. The mass grading is within that $1 million number that I had talked about. So maybe in March we could award both packages. That timetable may be a little bit dependent upon how quickly the DNR approves our wetland delineation. But we're hoping that April, May, we can get our erosion control permits, really start mass grading the site to plat the roadway right-of-way and the lots. And this is all going to have to work through at least the Plan Commission on a land division, and then the lot creations. Anyway, our goal is to really start rough grading by sometime in July, and then spend the rest of the year constructing the roadway extension and install the utilities. Our goal is to be done by the time the weather turns the end of next year. And if the right deal comes together with the companies that I talked about, you know, that would be about the time one of them would hope to move into a new facility. So that kind of goes up at the same time we're building everything. It's likely to get a little messy, but, you know, kind of is what it is. But that's our goal. You mind if I asked about their availability?
Be my guest.
I'm not sure, but I'm sort of thinking that there's quite a number of projects, some you're not even aware of that we've talked about that, you know, I really feel comfortable because now some of these projects, we're at the spend money phase, whether it's foremost the North Interchange or this. And then there's a couple that are out there that we haven't even talked about, and not even thinking about the medical college. So I'm thinking that these things really, in my opinion, will be a really, really, really big part of the community's future, particularly if they all come together. And so I'm thinking it might really be good to have a joint plan commission, redevelopment authority, and city council meeting. Bill, I think probably the RDA is the group that would create the TID, should that all move forward. I have need of that to probably do it before, if there's this joint meeting, probably before the first of the year. So availability for probably what could be a two-hour meeting, maybe a little better. We can run all through these projects, let you comment. Some of them tie together. I'm thinking, you know, maybe the week before Christmas. It could be even the week in between Christmas and New Year's. I guess I just wanted to ask if any of you guys are traveling, going to be out of town and not available.
I'm good.
Okay.
Good. Danny, you good?
I actually think it would be,
I'm good.
I actually think it's pretty impressive if this all comes together. So probably been a long time since maybe we saw the level of things that could happen in the community that, you know, are out there. So that's it. Thank you, Dale.
Okay, thank you. Any questions at the end? No? If not, we'll move on to
Thank you very
resolution number
much.
82.
Yeah, no problem.
A resolution to authorizing the fiscal year 2019 non-represented employee wage and salary rates. Alderman Peachy, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Upperman, fellow council members, and citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson, Resolution Number 82. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the Common Council hereby authorizes a 3% adjustment to the 2019 non-union compensation plan. Be it further resolved that the following wage and salary adjustments for non-represented, non-union employees covered by the city compensation plan are herein authorized. Employees positioned on the step portion of the compensation plan shall be advanced forward to the next step that provides for a wage or salary increase pending the successful outcome of an annual performance evaluation. And employees that have or will advance out of the step portion of the compensation plan shall receive a 3% base wage or salary increase on their 2018 base wage or salary pending the successful outcome of an annual performance evaluation. Be it resolved by the Common Council that the above referenced step increases and the base wage and salary increases shall be implemented the first regular pay period of 2019. And be it resolved that employees may be subject to an additional one-time merit bonus based upon above-average job performance as documented in their performance evaluation. And due to its length, in lieu of reading the complete text of this resolution, a complete copy is on file at the office of the city clerk and is available for public inspection. I would so move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Brandel. And discussion? Any questions or comments? Finance Committee reviewed this.
Yep. It was unanimous.
Thank you. If there are no other questions or comments, all in favor of resolution number 82, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Peachy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Randall?
Aye.
Lars?
Aye.
Kraus? Aye. Horn?
Aye.
Thank you. This time, we're going to remove resolution number 83 from this agenda That may or may not be brought back in the future. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session pursuant to section 19.85 parent C of the Wisconsin State Statutes to consider the hiring of a full-time administrative assistant for City Hall and a part-time patrol officer. It's been moved by Alderman
Second.
Kraus and seconded by Alderman Miller. All in favor signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Peachy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Randall?
Aye.
Lars?
Aye.
Kraus? Horn?
Aye.
Thank you. We will reconvene, and we do expect to take some action in a few minutes.
Are you gonna take care of Jake?
No.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we are reconvened to open session. This time we'll consider resolution number 84, a resolution to hire a full-time administrative assistant for the City Hall Administrative Department. Alderman Miller, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, and citizens. City of Jefferson Resolution Number 84. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the council hereby authorizes the hire of Claire Schulten as administrative assistant at an hourly rate of $15.64, step 4 of grade 1. Be it further resolved that she will be granted 14 days of PTO upon commencement of employment with the City Hall office. Be it further resolved, employment with Claire shall start no later than December 10th, 2018. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Brandel. Any discussion?
This was unanimous at personnel.
Thank you. If there are no other questions or comments, all in favor of resolution number 84, please signify by saying aye as Sarah calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Alderman Brandel?
Aye.
Lars?
Aye.
Kraus?
Aye.
Horn?
Aye.
Peachy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution number 85, a resolution to hire a part-time patrol officer. Alderman Kraus, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, and citizens of Jefferson. Resolution number 85, whereas Police Chief Pileggi has taken steps to fill a vacant position in the police department for a part-time patrol officer, and whereas the open part-time patrol officer position was recently vacated by resignation, and whereas Police Chief Pileggi is recommending that Reserve Police Officer Jameson
Hoff.
be promoted to the rank of part-time patrol officer by the City of Jefferson to fill the vacated position. And whereas the Personnel Committee, having reviewed the qualifications of Reserve Police Officer Jameson Hoff and pursuant to Chief Pileggi recommending the promotion of Reserve Police Officer Jameson Hoff to the rank of part-time patrol officer to the Common Council. And whereas the Chief of Police has part-time funds allocated in his 2019 approved operating budget, and that this part-time patrol officer is to replace a current vacancy in the part-time patrol officer staff. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the Chief of Police is authorized to promote Reserve Police Officer Jameson Hoff to the rank of part-time patrol officer effective Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019, as a part-time patrol officer for the City of Jefferson Police Department. The initial rate of pay shall be $16.50 per hour pursuant to the 2019 City of Jefferson non-represented pay resolution. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Lars. In discussion?
This also was unanimous at personnel.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Chief, did you have anything you'd like to add?
He's a great young man. This is part of the reason with the civilian reserve officers you approved a couple of years ago, that this is a great way for us to get to know people and actually work this through when we have these vacancies and we know this person or not right off the street. So I would respectfully request that you guys go ahead and let me know this.
Thank you. It's great to see that that program is working so well for us, besides serving